Play it.
You could take that police rhythm I was just doing and overlay that. But you already, is that song already released?
Oh yeah, that's released, recorded, and everything.
Okay. We can just reform it. So the chords I'm doing here is like C minor. This is G minor. Check. Yeah. It's like a bar chord, but you take your middle finger off.
Yeah. I know.
Sorry, I'm still learning. And then maybe like maybe that could be like the intro or something like a.
Instead of playing a minor chord here, we just
Almost like a Stairway to Heaven element where you.
I don't know, adds that extra little like.
Figuring out the transition, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, maybe since we go here on the second one.
It's cool. It's got a nice groove and rhythm to it. So
don't do that.
Now you guys, so that these guys understand, because we're all flies on the wall right now. Can we just shift to a second idea?
Sure.
Okay. No, did you? I mean, that sounded like a second idea going on there. And it's like, okay, so you float with one or two or three ideas, and then you hone in on one that just sounds like a great jam, and then you start progressively try to write down the verses and chorus, right?
Yeah.
And explain that, because in this process that you're starting to build right now, we're all trying to
guys?
For the song, what are we working on right now?
Well, we have a verse and a chorus, right?
Usually when I have a structure, that's when I start figuring out where drums should be.
You guys are creating this hub right now. What would sound good? Can someone do that? And if they don't, then no worries. But if someone can, they pop in. Because everyone's trying to feel like they don't want to step on what you're doing, but
They tried to kill the method.
help bring it together.
And if you're not feeling that idea, I had a verse idea if you guys want to do a chorus. Like, it's kind of a...
So Chris, as you're explaining to these two guys, tell the rest of these guys almost like what's going on in their head, so they know here's what you're trying to do right now. That's the following.
Yeah, so usually when I have a song idea, and you guys can certainly relate to this too, like, I kind of hear the whole production in my head. I'm hearing where the kick drum's going, and you know, as you guys work with these recording programs, you'll start to hear where all the instruments lock in, right? Like the kick drum, where's the snare going to go? How are we going to connect the verse to the bridge so it doesn't sound forced, right? So those are all the things that are kind of going through my mind. Do we need, like you said, do we need a pre-chorus, or should we just go right into the chorus, right? I agree, totally. If you're going to go do a rock and roll style thing, probably don't need a pre-chorus. That's really kind of an intellectual thing, like a Beatles thing, right? Do we need a solo, right? And what are the chords going to be underneath the solo? Is it going to be the chords from the chorus, or is it going to be the chords from the verse? Are we going to go into a rock and roll thing, like a... Right? So you're making all these decisions. And for me, I try everything until I figure out what sticks, right? Like, you'll know when you're writing a song, like, okay, this is working or not working. And for me, my process is like, try everything. If it doesn't work, throw it away. Justine will tell you. Like, I'll spend hours just on an idea, like, and scrap 90% of it, and then come back to that 10 that's working.
But you know what else is helpful is when you are playing along with two other guys or another guy, and it might be something good, but it's not good in your head, you're getting frustrated with it. They hear it as good, and they're like, no, don't throw that away. This is not something. Yeah. So it's nice to be able to, you know, like you have a stream of consciousness and you're running with it. But then if I'm working with Connor here, and I've got the stream of consciousness and I got a block, and Connor's like, no, I've got the solution to that block, and he takes off. Sometimes it's going to be very helpful. It just matters. It just depends upon how you jive together. Sometimes it can't be. Sometimes he'll block you off. Sometimes your stream of consciousness gets stopped. Sometimes he takes off in another place. You fight for that space. That doesn't happen as often as it being helpful from what I've seen. I've seen it always. It tends to be a climate, an idea filler, where you've got someone that can fill in the idea that you've got going on. You've got melody, and or even complement it, which is what they're doing. So, in a sense, these guys are laying down the roots of it, just keeping that rhythm going, and you're laying down the melody, right? You're trying to. Anyone want to write down? Like maybe you just take the lead from. Do you want someone to just take the lead from you and write it down? Got some ideas up there? And who feels comfortable doing that? Anyone interested? Cora, you want to do that? You want to write some? Not interested? You like hanging in the back?
Oh.
Matt?
Hello.
Yeah, well, not the music notes. So we're just writing out, Chris. Yeah. We're going to write it down on the board just to kind of keep track of where we're at.
Yeah.
Here, let me get to a few things here. So are we trying to build an intro, and what does that sound like?
I don't know. I usually do the intro like last.
And is it, how many bars?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we going into verse 1?
Probably.
Okay, so how many bars?
I don't know.
Are we going to do a verse 2, or go into chorus? Sounds like we're not doing pre.
We're not even like past this stage yet.
We're not there. So what
Back to it.
So the trick, I guess, is when like when and how do we go into the chorus, right?
Yeah.
So it could be like. So when we hit that chord. Like the drums are just.
I love that.
It's getting very
Like a tail end. We'll drop into that delay
Yeah.
beat. Right? So you get like that tension between the chorus 4/4 and then the kind of off time thing happening in the verses.
Yeah.
And any bridge ideas? Do we need a bridge? Do we need a solo? Do you guys want to solo over something?
I don't know. We should have like a good like riff over the.
Yeah, maybe that could be the bridge is like a solo over that, right? It'd like. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You hear that? I heard it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, play the thing.
That's a major. That's pretty cool.
That's a pretty minor.
So what chords are we playing? Let me follow. Make sure I'm getting the same chords as you
C
guys.
minor, G major, A sharp major, and F minor.
Right. Okay. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe something like I heard something like that ringing out or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an outro. I don't know.
That'd be yeah if we slowed it down at the end.
Yeah.
Let's pause you guys there for a moment. Oh, for us, gonna ring in about 2 minutes. So here's where we wanna
We just got started.
get an idea. So right now, Chris, if you were to explain how the three of you guys, what did you just come up with, and now what's now still got to be done? Let's do a summary bit right now, and so we know where we're going with this. And does this become, you know, we'll kind of discuss after this what kind of time needs to be put into this in addition to what's happening right now. But let's try to summarize this for these guys in terms of what's been achieved, and then what can we do from here?
I guess in my head I hear like whatever the structure is going to be, right?
Yeah.
Is it verse, chorus, solo, drop out everything except for guitar and vocal. third chorus outro.
Excited about yesterday. I'm going to start off our bit of an intro into this piece here. I was very excited about yesterday because chemistry doesn't just happen by design. It happens by happening. And it either happens or it doesn't happen. I felt like yesterday there was great chemistry. You two have already found each other through chemistry. Chris is connected with you guys through chemistry. I feel like when Wade came, who was the drummer, came in after you guys yesterday, and these folks all sat around after this class yesterday and started to build upon what they tooled around with in front of you folks, and the chemistry got even better. I felt like with Wade involved in that too with you guys, it just kind of everything just kind of continued to go up. So this is what you hope for when you're creating music and you're putting together music, is you want people to travel along the same vein of thought and then creatively be able to bring it in. But as the ideas start to flow, you don't want to tangent so far out that you start to create another song, and then you create another song, and then you do another song, and then you're like, where were we with that other song? And it can happen. So it's good for if you're in a studio or you're working with someone else to be objective. I kind of sat in that place with you guys to be, I've done a number of producing and engineering for a number of other bands and other artists. So it's kind of fun to be able to take some of that experience and bring it into this moment in time and go, okay, creatively you want your artists, and so this is an interesting piece, you guys. These guys really did a great job coming together and pulling together the structure of a great song. It came from, let's talk it through. It came from an idea of a riff that you were playing around with, Owen. I'm going to guess, if I'm guessing right.
It came from me writing a riff the night prior to yesterday.
And then it also hybrided with, from what I was witnessing, Chris had a song that he was listening to on the radio by the band The Police, Can't Stand Losing You, and kind of bringing in some of that energy from that song and then modifying it. And what we're doing right now is the band approach. And the band approach worked really well because collectively these guys pulled it all together. So if you're going to record, which the objective is that we want to record this song, you've got to collectively write this song out, get what we call a scratch track. So a scratch track is where they roughly, Tony, you with me? Where they roughly put this together. So we had ourselves, I cut it up, we had ourselves an intro. Then we have, and if you think in terms of bars, this would be 8 bars, verse 1. And then we've got ourselves a chorus, 4 bars. And then what we're going to call it a bridge. And then into verse 2, which is 8 bars. And then a chorus 2. And then a bridge. Are you starting to see the pattern? Same pattern. Same pattern. And then we're going to call this verse 3. And then a chorus, and then a bridge. And we could call this, it really depends upon where they go with this. They could repeat their chorus and do chorus 4 and 5, and then the outro. Or, a lot of bands will get into a place where they go, okay, we're not going to do a repeat on the chorus, we're going to do a modified chorus, we're going to do pieces of it, we're going to do maybe other sounds that are just kind of rhythmically part of it. It's really up to them to where they want to go with that piece, where it kind of flies. Sometimes where you got some talented musicians in there that know how to sing and songwrite, which Gavin knows how to songwrite and sing. Owen, you know how to sing and songwrite?
Yeah.
Chris knows how to sing and songwrite. So
Yes.
we kind of experimentally said, all right, why don't we come up with a theme? And this theme was like a space journey.
Oh,
like if you were going
theme
to...
still?
Are you going with this theme?
I did not go with the theme.
I didn't write that.
Okay. Well, so the idea yesterday, and you guys are going to have to see where you go with this then. The idea was to kind of go off with this theme thematically and then come together. And he would write verse 1, space journey wise, and then chorus wise would come to like a mothership, so to speak, or a captain of a ship, or captain of the place, or a docking location, or something where it's like this is the analogy of a hub, right? Lyric 2 would be verse 2 would be Gavin, and then he would get to that place with the chorus. Verse 3 was Chris, and then he would get to that place with the chorus. And so, in operation, the three of them would sing harmony on the chorus. We don't know if that's going to work or not, but it might. And if it does, then that would be really thematically really cool. So that was the idea and concept going into this. So last night they were supposed to write to it. Today they were supposed to come to it. We were going to play the scratch track. You guys are going to hear what they came up with on verses and chorus. Play it through a few times and see how it sounds and gels. And then present it to you guys and say, how would you change any of the lyrics? Would you wordsmith this? Is the meaning good? Is the are any of the words not doing it for you? How would you change that to still create the theme of what you want, but not be direct, be more, create more of an analogy with these lyrics so that they apply to almost anybody that listens to them and connects. So how would that's where we want to pull you guys into that. So again, that position is a producer's position, is a person that sits outside the bubble of what's being created and then helps with the polishing and structure of the creation. So we want you to take place in that practice today. This is just an exercise and an activity in doing so. Here's one more piece. Studio West, we usually will design, and I think we will be, a tour of Studio West's in Rancho Bernardo for this class, so you guys can go through that studio. We typically will take a band and bring them there to record one song at that studio as well. The thought may be that we either do this there as well. I got to think about this, because normally on the third day when we do this recording here in our studio here, normally they bring over a sound engineer from Studio West, because I can't bounce back and forth and set up the gear and properly do a record. They have a couple people out for COVID, and they also have the main guy that's there that would normally work with me on this. He just bought a house. So we got some, just so you guys know in terms of how this is happening, we may or may not be recording tomorrow. I think we are going to be recording tomorrow. We'll at least do a scratch with mics set up, but we're going to do our best with that. But it may be that we pull this together again in another couple weeks and Studio West for our tour. Have these guys actually tune it in and record it there too. You guys with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, who has some thought, some input into this? So here's our objective. We're going to pull out the lyrics. We're going to have them sing to this. We're going to show you the structure. I'm going to show you how I cut this up here and then color-coded it so it's easy for you guys to see and understand. And then we will run the lyrics through it. And then have you guys wordsmith with them after a few runs and see how it plays out. Sound good? All right, cool. Let me shut this door here then.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm supposed to write.
Okay, so check it out.
Take like days to write.
Yes.
Oh, and you guys. For a little bit. Okay, so here it is. What I did was we took a phone recording of the track. I cut it up in verses and bridges and choruses. Already cut it up. I duplicated the track 5 times and I've got them muted. I did this for the reason, check it out, that I color-coded them so that you could see where there was the intro, where the verses are, and we're going to keep all the verses. We're going to keep all the verses yellow. We're going to keep all the choruses green. We're going to keep the bridges blue, and we're going to keep the outro purple and the intro this red right here. Okay? So let's go ahead and listen to it through one time so that you can get an idea of what we've got here. Here we go.
It's just a loud mess.
Based off the riffs yesterday.
I got Wade. He's here.
Are you going to go let him in the gate? Or is he Okay, so how are we laying this out? So let's check it out. So this beginning piece is kind of nothing, right? It's just them getting together. So if I want to clean that up, I'll delete that guy out of there.
What? No, that's the best part of the whole song.
You want that as part of the intro? I'll just leave that there. Great. So we're leaving it there for the intro. So here's the intro.
All right.
Then it's verse 1. So what I'm going to do,
What? It goes on straight into the verse.
well,
I don't know.
we're going to take a look at it. So we may have to restructure this, or
Well,
this is part of the intro. I think it's what Chris and I looked at it and said, well, this was really part of the extension of the intro because it's
Well,
still
yeah.
instrumental. But we got to talk about this in terms of structure. So we'll break it down. You guys will have to look at it at the same time. So
you write lyrics?
here's your chorus. Chorus done. And then it goes into what we call a bridge.
It's like post-chorus.
So this is the bridge. It's like the breakdown of the track. And what's the time of that?
That's so.
What's the time of that? It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. Sounds horrible when it's all together like that. So, we're back to a chorus. You guys are getting the big picture, so we're gonna keep it flowing. You'll see how it's being laid out. All right. So now at this point, they've got to determine.
Diabolically
They've got to determine. This is the intro. Does the intro extend halfway into this first verse structure and it becomes like an instrumental verse without lyrics, or do they start an entire set of verses here for one? Go to chorus 1, go to bridge, then go to verse 2, chorus 2, bridge. Then go to verse 3, chorus 3, bridge. And then what are they going to do with this chorus out? Is it going to be a duplicated chorus doubled up, chorus out? Is it going to be a modification of it? And they also, it sounds to me, and Chris and I were talking about this earlier, should this be an intro verse instrumental, and then should this be doubled? So they'd have to go back and re-record or write that in a structure. Or for right now, as a scratch, we could copy that so that they could write the lyrics to it? Or do the lyrics start right off from the beginning of this verse? Where does that go? So, you guys are seeing the structure? This is where you folks take over and go, here's what I wrote to it. Here's how we're going to do it. I could play the little bits. You call it out. So, Owen, did you take verse 1?
Yeah.
Take over. So, go
Well,
ahead and
I
present to
didn't-
these guys what you did.
I even I just wrote ideas. I don't even have a verse yet. I didn't have enough time.
Okay. So, what do you want to do?
I don't know. Well, I have ideas written down. I don't have a solid verse written down.
Okay. So, in terms for recording purposes, should you scat? Do you want to speak in melody, voice? Like da 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 da, and you could scat, just sounds. Would you prefer to do that at this point to get to a place of structure so you know what to write to if need be? And then you're hearing what his verse is, and maybe it's going to make you more comfortable to write to his verse leading to it.
Yeah, that's a good point, because sometimes you hear, in your head, you hear, when you're writing, you hear syllable sounds, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know what the words are. So sometimes it helps, that's how the Rolling Stones write a lot of the time, is they'll just throw out syllable sounds at each other, and then those syllables will kind of form words, like that song, Start Me Up, Start Me Up! It didn't start like that, but the vowel sound was like, da da da, and then that became Start Me Up. So if you're struggling to write lyrics, if you're a writer, that's one way to get the creative juices flowing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And another term is speaking. It's not speaking in tongue, but it's speaking in foo. So the way Dave Grohl wrote that first record was he did words, but the words didn't have any conjunctive meaning to each other. They were just words. And based off of those words, he was like, I kind of like this practice of putting together words into sentences that don't necessarily mean anything, but they kind of sound like they should, and they leave people wondering. And that's the term speaking in foo, like saying things collectively that don't necessarily mean something, but kind of leave you wondering what it is. And that sometimes is what is the objective of a songwriter for a song, is they don't want you to literally know the story. They want you to interpret it to your own meaning of your own life. And it may be just a couple phrases, it may be just a couple sentences, or maybe the whole song and its intention. And then other songwriters come at it literally and just write a true, straight to the gut story, and you follow it along like a movie in your head of what their intention was. So there's all sorts of different approaches to this. At this moment, to move forward with the project, we would need to probably have you speak in gibber over that first part. Owen? And Gavin, did you write your stuff?
No.
You didn't do it either?
No.
Chris, you did?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
some lyrics, yeah.
So, all right. So we had an objective yesterday. We didn't meet the first two of those objectives, so we'll see where we get with this then. How about this? Where do y'all want to go with this from here? Take it.
I got an idea for the little riff though. That's such a cool little offbeat riff. I thought we could do a breakdown of that the second time we hear it, right before the third verse.
That's what I was thinking.
Right? And Wade's going da 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 da, like a breakdown, just maybe a couple bars, right? And then to the chorus is kind of repetitive, right? Just maybe on the third chorus, one idea I heard in my head I wanted to pitch to you guys was to double the length of it, but on the last half of that chorus, bring in the first idea that I showed you guys, just like a chord change, just for the last half of the third chorus, just to bring some new, fresh melody into the song, and then wherever we go from there, we go from there.
Cool.
So those are the two ideas I had, and then I think after that, it's just a matter of polishing up the song, figuring out which parts we want to keep and which parts we want to shorten, and then finish up the lyrics and track.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, do we want to go along this idea of trying to create some lyrical content right now? Because the idea was that we were going to try to listen to what was there and then modify it with the class, but we could change our direction on this. Where should we go, Chris? What do you want to do?
For time's sake, it might be best to just get in there with Wade and just start hashing out a structure, right? Like a structure, like get it structured down.
So avoid the lyrical content right now, or do you want to kind of throw out what you've got right now lyrically and see?
Yeah.
Because maybe that may spark some direction for these guys, or maybe it ends up you do all the lyrics to it and it gets written out that way. And you know what I mean? Like the original idea was to each one of you guys sing your own verse.
It's just weird having to try and write to a concept.
Right, but it's, so if you go to a school of rock, let's just say, and I understand everybody, a lot of people want to play music and they'll sit in their room and say, this is how I do it and this is how I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. And that's totally cool. If you were to, let's not even say school of rock, let's just say Neil Peart. I'm going to use him as an example again because he just first comes to my mind. He's a drummer. He's got a very interesting structure to his drumming, right? So Neil Peart, again, back to Rush. He's very concise. He's very tight. He's very exacting. He does a lot of four on the floors. And he realized halfway through his career, he said, I think I've hit a wall in my learning of how I do drums. And he's one of the he was considered, and I personally consider him the greatest drummer in the world. I mean, Buddy Rich is amazing too, but I mean, there's just so many out there, but they all have different styles. And he said, the only way I'm going to get better is if I go to other players and break down what I know, how I do it, and learn how they do it. And so he would go to reggae drummers that would play on the fills rather than on the 1, 2, 3, and 4. They'd play it almost like a swing beat. And then
he stopped playing to a click track.
Yes.
He allowed the drums to kind of move. But before that, I think he was playing mostly to a click.
Mostly to a click, and he was a click. He became the click.
Right.
Because he had what was called perfect time.
Yeah.
It was measured, it was tested, it was checked, and he had perfect time. So he became the click.
Right.
It's like these guys were warming up and playing yesterday, and I heard Wade say, hey, slow it down a little bit, Owen. But Wade just kept kind of going a little bit faster too. So it's like he's got his own, everybody in their mind's got a time. But really when it comes down to it, it's the bass and the drums that are keeping the time for the band. And then everyone plays to that. That's just how that works. It's part of the timing of the track.
Right.
But again, back to this idea of learning a way or a system. You grab a seat. Learning a way or a system. Like Owen said, like I don't play to it. I've never done that. So this class and this idea is almost experimental, where we go, hey, get outside of your comfort zone and try something new. It's pretty tough. It's kind of like I feel as students, if I was a student, I'm going to guess right now, Owen and Gavin, if I was a student and I was playing in front of other students, I'd be a little nervous. It's almost like walking out on stage naked and going, okay, I'm going to do a comedy act, but in my underwear.
Right.
It's pretty tough to do. And this act that we're doing, thank you. Yeah, I think we're good. This act that they're doing is basically bearing their vulnerability to you guys by laying lyrics out there and being judged. Like, oh, did you hear what Owen came up with during the last period? He said something about a girl and said da da da, and then be like, right? It's uncomfortable. It's totally uncomfortable. This is a. I number one, I just want to say I appreciate you guys all doing this in the first place for you folks. But you have to understand that it's a place of vulnerability that's very difficult to expose and present. So this thing that we're trying to do, and I was hoping that we would just do, I'm basically asking you to walk up on stage in your underwear. So it's a tough one. And I would bet even you, Chris, like saying, "Oh shoot, now I'm the only one with a verse and a chorus. Yeah. What if they don't like it? What if they think I'm a dork? Who cares?" Yeah. So I want to present this out to you guys right now. Have the attitude, everybody. Who cares? And also have the attitude, this isn't a judgment, this is an experiment. And so to be able to throw that out there and be comfortable with it, that's what I'm trying to get you guys to do.
Yeah.
On top of this normal practice of getting into a studio and working with somebody and trying to get them to record these pieces down. You guys get where this is at? So that's part of this challenge as well, as we kind of lay this out and do this. So let's keep going with this idea. Are you comfortable with throwing out the verse? And
Yeah.
we'll play it, and you can sing to that piece and kind of throw it out there, and then we can all kind of work with it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Should we play it from the top, or play from verse 3, or start 20 seconds back before verse 3 and then sing into it?
Just play from the top.
Play from the top.
So for verse 1, I'm still in kind of the phonetic stage, just hearing those phonetic syllables that we were talking about. Tightening those up, polishing those up, figuring out what that's actually going to be. And then the chorus lyrics are all right there.
Excellent. Okay.
All ready?
Kind of a Fugazi thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, don't say when you're coming down. Yeah, don't say when you're coming down. The pain exists. All the things around me, the pain exists. All the things around me, all the things around me, all the things around me. So it's like the idea I had in my head for the chorus was like a call and response thing. Like, the pain, da, 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 da. And then like that was the phonetic sound I heard in my head. So I thought, oh, that's a cool.
That's a great concept. So in that call and respond piece, from a production standpoint, if you guys were producing this, you could either go, I love this, Chris, so I would go with your voice and I would have you do a call and response and either create an echo
Right.
of your voice, and so we
Right.
could duplicate it. I could actually do a production element, so I threw a filter on and did a one count echo. So when you said it, it was a call and response, but it sounded like it was a distant cry.
Exactly. From a
Or,
production standpoint. Yeah.
or we could go, hey, guess what? We've got other members in the band that are also singers that have great voices, and so they can harmonize. And so instead of harmonizing, they can harmonize with that chorus, and then it's just their backing vocal doing the response. Or we could double or triple his voice in chorus, and then their backing vocal would be the response. So it could be a talk back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's, in theory, from production, as we produce this piece, we could go in any direction and make it really cool. It kind of comes down to what's the energy behind this track.
Exactly. Yeah. So you'll find when you write, things take twists and turns, right? And it's kind of a matter: are you going to resist that, or are you going to go with the flow? Like yesterday, I came in with that idea, the kind of police idea, right? And I think we pitched out 3 full ideas, and by the end of the day, Owen played that really killer opening riff. And I'm like, well, why don't we just jam on that, see where that goes? And now we have a whole entire song built around that one riff.
Mm-hmm. And then it got modified from there.
And then it got modified from there. So I think by the end of today, we should have a tight version ready to track tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if we, as we get it played back there, you guys are kind of shouting out this, just repeat
Yeah.
your verse groove and your chorus groove each time so that we know where the layout's going to be and that it sounds right, feels right. And then, if that is, that's when go back to the board and write. You guys will decide, hey, one person's going to write all the verses and chorus, or you guys go with that original concept where you guys split it up.
Right.
Gavin, how do you feel about that?
I'm cool with that.
Which
could
one?
totally hear, like,
Either or?
Yeah, I don't.
Owen, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So we got a lot of amiability, and that's what you want within a group that kind of gets that focus going. Wade, how do you feel about that? You're way back there. Cool. Wade's down.
What's up, Wade?
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, I think this would be a good time to bring it back there, plug in, and get it going, and get everyone to kind of shift around it.
Yeah.
How much time do we have? So what are your thoughts on that, you guys?
Right after the second. Then we go into the third verse.
Oh yeah, okay, go.
Top.
So right where the break, where the guitar, second guitar part.
Wade, just give us a cue when you're ready to go back to the.
Okay.
Did you like that?
Is it too long, you think?
No, I thought it was good.
So you guys, what they're trying to do is like the entirety of that structure of that song, verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, bridge, and then when it's on that last chorus, that is it a chorus or how do they get out? And that out where the chorus could either repeat on the end and then the end of the song. They're trying to find a way to create some improvisation, create some builds, create some dramatic crescendo. And the drums are helping with that. The breakdown is helping with that, but there's also an interesting pacing going on right now. And so it kind of drops back down and then bubbles and boils and then comes to the end and then at the end. So they're finding their way through that last piece right now.
You want to take it from that C chord again? Yeah. That's going to follow me. Having an idea.
Yeah, so it goes into verse 3 after that, and then chorus 3.
Yeah, we like.
My name is Mud.
All right. Rat song. Do it again to slide the again.
Chorus 3 would be right there.
Oh, we're gonna do 3 of them. Okay. Again.
Orson.
Same parts, just say 3.
the length of it,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So on the second half of the last chorus, like the idea I had just to run through you guys is I'm taking the idea from the first song. Dun, 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 like build it up. Dun, dun, dun.
Right, so you mean instead of doing a lead thing?
Yeah, like so the. Yeah, well, no, not on the drums, but the guitars are just regular,
Oh.
like
Oh,
the
the
regular
guitars.
chorus, the regular chorus, but
Guitar.
without do that 2 times and then.
So I'm not changing anything.
Yeah, whoops, I'm playing in the wrong key. I'm sorry. Right, so let's just play the third chorus.
So I felt the guitar.
Yeah.
So we're doubling up the chorus, but we're
You're doubling up the chorus, but without the that part right there.
So that's part taken out?
Yeah, for the third chorus. Just for the
Okay, so no dan, 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 dan
right.
on the
just
third one.
just as an experiment.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Right?
That'd be kind of cool because you do want to repeat it 3 times anyway, right?
Right. So maybe just take it from the third chorus.
Okay.
As long as you want, or you could go back into the intro and end the song on that. Whatever you want.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So what do you guys think? Do you want to go back into the intro after that, or do you want to end the song on?
I think it should end there.
Okay.
Yeah,
you want to give it a
it's
shot?
starting to get too long anyway.
Yeah.
So sticking with the original structure of what we had up there?
Much shorter than that.
I guess. I don't know. I think it should just. It should play like the and then go into play that 8 progressions maybe, and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to give it a shot from the third chorus?
I'm gonna try this Rage Against the Machine thing. Do the beginning real quick and try and just go on with what I'm doing. Yeah. Just like that Rage. I'll show you.
Okay.
Orson, play.
It's just the
Chorus.
chorus.
Yeah.
No,
play
just the
chorus.
beginning, like you're playing the beginning.
Oh, that.
a noise complaint. They're trying to make a test. Sorry.
That's why you hit draw hard.
Good job. Good job. Yeah, the challenge we have, it's a sound production class.
Okay.
You kind of produce.
It's kind of like going over to the band and saying, you guys can't perform out in the field because there's houses next door.
I'm just relaying
It's a tough one.
message, so
Are we just
there
gonna
you
play
go.
from the chorus, or are we gonna start?
I'm just coming up with an idea right at the beginning.
Yeah, we got 3 minutes left.
Song?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
That's
from
what
the
I
beginning.
figured.
very
It's
beginning.
almost the end of the class anyway. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Play from the
So,
beginning of the song.
okay, thank you.
Just
So, hold up. So let's hold up on this for right now for that period. So let's close out.